Starting, that's what you called to order?
He didn't call to order.
Oh, the meeting called to order again?
No.
Oh, excuse
Call
me.
the meeting to order. This is a regular city council meeting, Tuesday, December the 9th. And we'll proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Dominic Ruggieri.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation will be led by Mr. Hogan.
Dear Father God, we thank you and we praise you for this opportunity to do the city's business. We thank you that your Holy Spirit's here today to give wisdom to the council and to that this meeting will be conducted decently in order. And we thank you and we praise you for all your blessings in this city. In Jesus' name.
Amen. I've always said you want something, just ask Dominic and you got it. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Alvarez?
Here.
Councilmember Calco?
Here.
Councilmember Schultz?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cicena?
Here.
And Mayor Cabrera?
Here.
You have a quorum?
Thank you. We have no presentation, so at this time we'll go into oral communications. This is items in the agenda. This is the time reserved for those in the audience wishing to speak on the items on the agenda. Time limit is 3 minutes. Maximum time allocated is 15 minutes. Please step up to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. It's items on the agenda. Being none, we'll go to items not on the agenda. Same rules apply?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
at least Dominic did something.
Right?
He did something.
John Heckerman, 12550 East Carson Street, Space 2. The only reason I'm up here this evening, Mr. Mayor and Honorable Council, is that we have some graffiti on the light post down there in front of the mobile home park, and it's been there for several months now. And I would like to see somebody come by and get it removed, because all this does is just give them more to pat themselves on the back about and maybe possibly come down there and start spray painting the fence next time around. So if we could get that removed, I would really appreciate that. Other than that, you're in luck tonight. I'm not going to raise cane.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll get somebody on that.
I'm sorry, is this item not on the agenda?
Yes,
No on the agenda. Not on the agenda?
none of the agenda.
Boy, I'm sleeping tonight. You go back to bed.
You did your job very well.
Yeah.
I have an issue with consolidated disposal and the city's contract with them.
A name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Pamela Sher Verduzco. My address is 21803 Devlin, Hawaiian Gardens, 90716.
Thank you.
So I have an issue with consolidated disposal. I believe their parent company is Waste Management Incorporated. I don't like the charges of $40 per quarterly pickup. That ends up being about $6.60 per pickup for me, because I only dispose of trash about twice a month. I think they're a monopoly and they have no competition by definition. An article was written in the Orange County Register. I have a copy here of the article as well as the original article concerning comparative prices in Orange County of waste disposal. This company is charging the same amount of money that the company that disposes for Laguna Niguel charges for their disposal system, and obviously there's a disparity in income in the part of the city. I talked to Mr. Fierro, one of the vice presidents, head of management, I'm not a CEO of some sort, I don't remember his title, at Consolidated, and he gave me some good reasoning, among it being that Orange County's disposal fees might be less than Los Angeles County's disposal fees. And he also said that they do not adjust prices according to the area, the income of the area in which they're serving. That one way they could lower disposal fees is if there was a cooperative way that the cities could get together, like 3 cities, all contract with the same disposal company. The disposal company could therefore lower their prices because they were getting a larger contract. At the present time, they have a contract with Hawaiian Gardens and with the city of Artesia. One more city, we could lower it. Westminster has a tri-city arrangement. They pay $7 a month for disposal fees versus approximately $14.50 that we're paying per month. Small companies cannot compete with this company. For one reason being that the city is afraid, or most cities are afraid of contracting with small companies because they're afraid that the contracts will not be fulfilled. That is not necessarily a valid objection. We had Mr. Cesena, obviously, in the city for a very long time. Small company, perfect service, no problems. More competitive rates. When Consolidated started recycling, they decided to charge us more money for recycling, whereas they save money by recycling. Their dump fees are lower because they dispose of less trash in the dump, and they can make they can make money on the recyclables that they recycle. But Mr. Firo's argument about that point was that they used to make more money 3 years ago. Okay, we didn't have enough time to discuss this point. This company is one of the biggest in the United States, if not the biggest trash disposal company in the United States. The difference between selling recyclable products 3 years ago and selling them today and making a little bit less money, I don't think is going to break the company. I wrote Consolidated telling them of my objections and paid my bill. They did not respond. I wrote them a second time when they billed me. They did not respond. The third, and I wrote them back telling them I'm not paying my next bill, which I didn't do. Plus, I didn't pay the following bill after that. Then I got their attention. Of course, the attention was in the form of a threat to a lien on my house in order to get me to pay their bill. But they couldn't have the courtesy to answer me. Although I will say, when Mr. Fierro talked to me, he was very courteous, very forthcoming. I think this is price gouging, and I think the city has a responsibility to its residents to not contract at these outrageous fees. I can recycle my own trash. I can compost it, and I can take the plastics and glass to the bins over at Cal State Long Beach. I don't need a company to charge me $6.40 per pickup to throw away stuff that I can throw away for a lot less myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, we'll move on to item B, public hearings. We have no public hearings. We'll move on to item C1, ordinance.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council, ordinance number 446 is item C1 on your agenda. It is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, County of Los Angeles, State of California, approving an amendment to the Hawaiian Gardens Municipal Code by rescinding ordinance number 438 and amending Title II, Chapter 2.16 and Section 2.16.020 relating to designating public places for posting notices. This evening it'd be in order to waive further reading and introduce ordinance number 446. It would set the places for posting as Hawaiian Gardens Civic Center, Leeware Park, and the Lakewood Mobile Estates.
Now, we've done this before. City Clerk?
Wasn't the police station at one time?
Yes.
And we don't have that, so it's been...
That's right, that's why we have to change it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the reason why this item is before you. In the past, we had designated previous locations, and those included the police department. And seeing that we no longer have the police department, we need to designate the reposting locations so that sometime in the future, if we need to post in lieu of publishing as a cost savings to the city, we need to make sure that our posting locations are available to us.
Okay.
So it's just amending, amending the place or eliminating one place and
Right,
keeping the other
we've
three, right?
substituted the police department with the Lakewood Mobile Home Estates.
Oh, I see, okay.
Okay, is there a motion?
Make a motion. Make the motion.
Second that.
There's a motion and a second. to introduce ordinance number 446. Can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calco?
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cicena?
Yes.
Mayor Cabrera?
Yes, motion carries. Item D1,
Yes, Mayor and Council, item D1 is consideration of resolution number 152-97. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens authorizing processing of all applications for reimbursements to FEMA for declared local emergency disasters. This is just in case El Nino hits us badly.
okay, and the action would be to waive further reading and adopt resolution number 125-97. Is there a motion?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Do we need a roll call vote for that?
Yes, it'd be a
Okay, roll call vote.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calco?
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cicena?
Yes.
Mayor Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries. Item D2, resolution.
Honorable Mayor and Council, item D2 is resolution number 126-97. It's your warrant register, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens approving the pre-issued warrants and regular warrants for a total of $78,891.63.
Okay, and I'll make the motion to approve.
Second motion.
A motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calco?
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cicena?
Yes.
Mayor Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries. Item D3.
Honorable Mayor and Council, resolution number 127-97 is item D3 on your agenda. It is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens authorizing the City of Long Beach to proceed with the construction work on Carson Street from Pioneer Boulevard east to Parkville Avenue once all pertinent documentation has been received and verified by the city.
I'm sorry.
You've all been, I think, given some comments that were submitted by the Moskowitz people.
That's what I,
We still recommend that you wait for the reading and adopt the resolution as presented.
as far as the city, with them, they have given us all the information that needed. I mean, in compliance with state and federal, and that's all done, right?
Yes, sir.
So is there anything that maybe we're waiting on? As far-
If I might, prior to construction beginning, they would need to provide proof that their contractors have insurance. They'd have to have an indemnity clause,
That's,
waiving any liability to the city, and they would be responsible for any accidents or damage or anything that's done by the construction. The city of Long Beach and their entities and their contractor, thereby the city would not be in jeopardy at all through the construction of the city. Further, there would need, as the resolution states, that the plans would be reviewed by our city engineer, approved by our city engineer prior to construction, and that the city engineer would review and approve the construction schedule.
okay, yeah, that's the concern that I had, the construction.
This has all been
schedule.
done, Paul? Has this been done?
This will all be taking place
Will be done.
as we go through the project.
Okay.
I think they're not planning on starting any construction until February, or sometime in February.
But they do have a schedule of action that's going to be taking place till.
Yeah, they had originally intended to start work in January, but due to delays on the design phase with Caltrans, that has been backed off.
Okay, and as far as liability, them coming into our city,
We will make sure that all pertinent insurance,
are covered.
waivers, and all that stuff is in place prior to them beginning work.
We don't want to have the same thing that happened with the open trenches and leave them like that and then they bail out on us.
Well, this is a different group altogether.
I know, I hope so. But that's,
Okay.
I'm glad you're.
Okay, then we need a motion to waive further
I'll
reading.
make a motion to waive further reading and adopt resolution number 127-97.
A second.
There's the motion and a second. Have a roll call.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calco?
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cicena?
Yes.
Mayor Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries. Item E, consent calendar. We have approval of the minutes of the November 25 regular council meeting. And the motion would be to, Mr. Schultz?
Correction.
I think it's page 5.
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah, on that vote, that's right.
Change the vote from,
Right.
on the emergency regulation, ordinance, from a no to a yes, if I can find it.
Yeah, it's on,
Yeah,
Yeah. Page 5.
It's on it right there.
On the second motion, from a
Right.
no to a yes on yours. Okay. So noted.
Okay.
Thank you.
The motion would be then to approve with the correction.
Make a motion to approve.
With a correction.
Right,
Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Tellez?
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintana?
Yes.
Mayor Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries. Item 2 would be holiday schedule, and there would be, in order to receive and file.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Second up?
All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F1, discussion items.
So, Mayor and Council, I believe City Clerk Ruggieri is going to present this item.
This presentation, excuse me. The presentation of results of referendum ordinance number 442, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawaiian Gardens, County of Los Angeles, State of California, repealing Section 9.64.070.2 of the Hawaiian Gardens Municipal Code dealing with the issuance of bingo licenses. The City Council, City of Hawaiian Gardens adopted ordinance number 442 on October 14, 1997. A referendum to repeal ordinance number 442 was filed with the City Clerk's office and processed in accordance with the Election Code. Referendum petitions totaling 129 against Hawaiian Gardens ordinance number 442 were filed on November 6, 1997 in the City Clerk's office. A total of 749 signatures were delivered to the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder's Office for verification of signatures. And attached in the back is a copy of the Register Recorder County Clerk's findings dated December 2nd, 1997, which is 740 signed signatures filed, and 609 signatures were found to be sufficient. Pursuant to the Elections Code, the referendum petition requires 10% of the registered voters of our city to act on a referendum. The total number of registered voters for the City of Hawaiian Gardens as of March 4th, 1997, and certified with the Secretary of State, believe it or not, is 4,398. Therefore, the valid number of signatures required is 440. The City Council has 3 available options regarding this matter. A, council may repeal ordinance number 442 by a vote of the majority of the council, or B, council may call and hold a special election, or C, council may place this matter on the ballot the next general municipal election to be held March 1999. The staff respectfully submits this item for council information, and no action is required at this time.
It would be in order to receive and
I'd
file.
like under discussion to discuss this.
Sure.
Okay, okay, basically, I think that, I guess the feeling is that we want to receive and file this tonight, but we're going to have to act on this eventually. Okay, we just can't
Yes, right.
bury this eventually. We're going to have to face
You
this.
can't act on it before 88 days after this is done anyhow, by the way. You can't make any decisions.
Okay, so one of the things I would ask the lawyer, if we wanted to, because I would like to see a compromise here. When I see that many signatures are gathered in 3 weeks, you have to pay attention to that as part of the democratic process. We just can't bury our heads in the sand and say, oh, we're going to ignore those people. I don't think we need to spend the money on a special election. We don't have the money for that. And to put that on the ballot, well, that's very expensive for the parties involved, okay? And maybe the last thing that this community needs is get bombarded again with all this literature about vote for the bingo ordinance or vote against it. And I'd like to see kind of a compromise if possible. If we want to eventually, could we repeal this ordinance and put in a new one that maybe would satisfy the people that signed this petition?
Eventually, if you wanted to do that, sure. You could take future action.
So what is the timeline that we're looking at, in 88 days from now?
Well, you got no less than 88 days, up until 88 days before the general election, actually. You have all that time.
Right.
So, but whenever we're ready, we can put it on the agenda.
Well, the direction that I would like to see this council is kind of, act on this as quickly as possible, so we don't let this fester and divide the community, and try to come up with a good compromise, and not just, bury this and let this get out of hand.
You can't bury it.
Well, no, I'm not saying bury it, but I'm saying, in other words, I think that the people on this petition, if we can come up with a compromise that satisfies them, maybe we don't need to have this on the ballot.
Right.
And that would be a cost-saving measure to people. And certainly, you cannot ignore the fact that in 3 weeks, they gathered that many signatures. So they're, my hat off to you guys flexed your muscle, very well organized. You know how to work the system, and we've got to pay attention to that. So I just wanted to comment on that, not just receive and file and forget about it.
Well, it's something we can't, forget about. We have to take action within 88 days. Is that true, Dominic? I mean, what,
Of the after election.
88 days from March of 1999 is when it would be required to do so, depending on what council's action would be.
Right, so
So that at this point, it would not be pressing for council to immediately take an action to either call a special election, for instance, or to add it to the election if council were to not decide to rescind the ordinance. And even if, just as a side note, if council were to decide to repeal this ordinance based on the referendum, council action cannot be taken again on this for approximately 6 months, from what I remember, according to the elections code.
12 months.
Would you,
12 minutes from now.
I'd like the opportunity to discuss certain issues with you in closed session, if I may, because I think some of them are prone to litigation.
right,
Give me that
Okay.
opportunity.
The 12 months is from when, from November?
If council were to decide, for instance, based on the referendum, to go ahead and repeal this ordinance, then no further action on this ordinance could be taken until 12 months from there.
Yeah, no similar ordinance may be adopted for 12 months. That's correct. So it would really not be in the best interest of any bingo interest to have an ordinance repealed at this time.
Now, could we amend it if we wanted to?
Sure, we could amend it if we wanted to.
And we can do that anytime we want.
That's correct. Until it's either repealed or until it's up for referendum. That's correct.
Maybe we could, meet with I would be glad to have an ad hoc committee and meet with the leaders of this petition and see if we can work out some kind of a compromise and make some amendments that would satisfy them, so that, we don't have to go through all this rigmarole. I mean, I don't mind the democratic process, but it seems like if we're intelligent people, if we can compromise here and save a lot of money, then we should do that.
but most importantly, I think we have to meet the law.
Well, yeah.
Because I think in the past, we've had an ordinance that was probably illegal, and we could have been sued. And I think that's why we took the action to change.
You're concerned about the idea of a monopoly, right?
Well, that, and I think the way it was written, it created a monopoly, and we were open to libel.
Okay, and from what I remember, your main concern was that you wanted church groups, the VFW, the Elks Lodge, whatever, for them to be able to have.
Correct.
But you're not really pushing for another major bingo establishment in the city, right?
No.
Right. Because, my feeling is that the bingo club has been very good to the city. They've given us millions of dollars, and we need to show some respect.
No, we're trying to follow the law.
Oh, no, I
We're trying to
know,
follow the law,
right.
we're trying to follow the law, and I know that bingo has been very good to us, and it's also a nonprofit, but they have to do something with that money. At the same time, I think it's for us to really consider things and not jump at things that we really haven't looked at. I think it's time for us to really look at it, maybe talk in closed session and see what is best for the community. And I'm sure in any professional organization, they can understand that. And I'm willing to work with anyone in a professional, ethical manner at any time. And I'm not saying that's not the case, it is, but also, I think they put us here to make the right decision. I don't want to be here, 2, 3 years from now, say, Scott, why did we do that? We didn't really check into it further. So, it's time for us to think, maybe we have to meet with some of the committee members. Why not meet with them and see what compromises can be done?
That's awesome.
Yeah, our legal opinion was that we had to take this action, that's why we took it. We have to follow what our city attorney says, her recommendation,
Right.
so.
But that's
We can bring this
right?
back, we can bring this
Certainly,
back and we'll
right.
work it out.
We can, sure, we can compromise if
Okay.
we want to.
Then, will somebody make a motion to receive and file?
I'll make a motion to receive.
Second motion.
Motion and a second to receive and file. All in favor of that action indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we'll go on to,
Just, Mr. Huber, real quick, I'm
Yes.
sorry, and I know sometimes, people come and talk before we close, before we go in closed session. There has been concerns on the speaker that came in today regarding the trash, and maybe that's something that we could check, see if anything can be done. So at least she feels that's something,
Sure.
we'll check into that, because it's not just hers. There has been people that have
Yes.
raised that concern. So
no,
it may be.
I had phone calls.
Okay, so it's our job to check into that and see what can be done, or talk to the disposal company and, for us to maybe fix things or come to an agreement, or see if we can accommodate the needs of the community.
Yeah, it's Republic Industries that has taken over Consolidated. Republic Industries.
But we'll check into that, so you don't think that we just push it to the side.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, item G1. Ms. Silva.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and members of the council, we will now meet in closed session to discuss existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A, cases Moreno versus City of Hawaiian Gardens, Yates versus City of Hawaiian Gardens, Corrales versus Dominic Ruggieri, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Sections 54957.6. We have 2 grievances filed by 2 employees, Mr. Morali Darin and Mr. Tevitz. We also have anticipated litigation to discuss pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D. We have significant exposure to litigation, 3 or more potential cases.
Okay, this time we'll be in closed session.
The closed session agendas. No action was taken as to items G1. Items G2, actions that were agreed to in concept, and it would be in order for the council to make a motion to approve of these matters and approve in concept the proposed grievance settlement for Denise, I'm sorry, I don't know her last name. Bates, Denise, the resolution of the Denise Bates grievance and the Gloria grievance, and in advance for Mr. Gomez. And it would be in order to approve that proposal in concept, the details to be ironed out among the parties. If you want to take all this action with one motion, that would be okay. Also, action would be in order to approve in concept the proposal to form a new accounting manager position in the city. Also to agree in concept to continue with the city council personnel subcommittee. It would be with Mr. Cecina and Mr. Calcote, and agree in concept to proceed with those types of subcommittee meetings provided the arbitrations are not instituted. Again, it would be in order to approve these 3 items in concept.
Motion and
I'll second that.
a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Falco?
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cesena?
Yes.
Mayor Cabrera?
Yes, motion carries.
No other action is taken.
Do we have oral staff reports?
Oral staff reports.
No oral staff reports?
Well, the only thing, maybe at the redevelopment meeting,
Okay. They have oral council reports?
Real quick.
Okay, Al.
Okay, I just want to thank the Public Works people for, on Saturday when it was raining real hard, they were up very early, out in the streets, making sure that the city wasn't getting flooded and making sure that it was draining properly, so commend them for that. And also, it's come to my attention that behind our former police department, there's a generator back there that is worth quite a bit of money, and it's, we need to kind of salvage that, maybe sell it or do something
I
with it.
think Mr. Vasquez is looking into that now. We've discussed it, and yeah, we're gonna try to sell it.
You know,
Yes.
so now that you mentioned that, there was some property that was confiscated by the department, and what happened with that?
I think the sheriff took it.
Oh, the sheriff took it and it goes to auction?
Yeah,
Okay,
evidence.
that's what yeah, it just, one real quick thing, I spoke with Father Larry in regards to the event to bless some of the sites for the some of the youth that lost their lives throughout the years. And he asked Pi for December the 21st because it's a day that they allow for that. It wouldn't be a procession, it would be just something that he would go maybe with some individuals and bless some of the sites. I told him I'd like to be there, so that'll be at 3 p.m. on the 21st of December to bless some of the sites. I don't know if we have to get any special permits for that from the city or something has to be done in order to...
it's not going to be a procession.
No, it's not.
I don't think you have.
Just going in your car and
Right.
Taking a march?
If it's considered a procession or a march, then I'll
No,
just
but I don't
require
think
an
it is.
application, like in the past.
Okay, so if we put an application, it's something minor, it's not something where you have to stop traffic and all that, it's not a...
You just-
is it half a dozen people
We'll
or?
get together.
Pardon?
Half a dozen people? or-
Right. It
I don't
might, maybe
think,
some of the mothers and something, just to do some of the site blessings. And
They all arrived there.
it's something that we had planned in the past and didn't get done because...
So they
of
can drive
conflicts.
to the sites and,
Right.
well, they probably don't have a problem.
But, maybe it might not be a bad idea to get something just in case. Because I do like an officer to be there just in case, have it be a couple of the sites.
It's possible.
Okay. If nobody else, I'd like to make a brief formal report. About a month, maybe a little bit more longer, a group from Mexico came down, specifically from Cuerámaro, for the reason of forming a sister city. And the sister city was formed. We had a reception here for them. We had approximately 100 people from Hawaiian Gardens attend, and they invited us to visit them in Cuerámaro. And it was kind of a quick thing. Myself and Mr. Montenegro, I was lucky enough to have Mr. Montenegro volunteer to go on the trip at his own expense, I might add. And we visited the city of Cuerámaro. We were greeted by the mayor. He's called the Presidente. And we were also greeted by a person from the governor's office of Guanajuato. And I'm sorry, his name slips my mind, but we were greeted in that fashion. There was also at least 100 people there at the reception. They provided vehicles for us for 4 days with a driver and a guide, and they took us to visit León, Guanajuato, the city of Dolores Hidalgo, San Miguel Allende, and of course Cuerámaro, which is now our sister city. And
The mummies.
pardon?
The mummies.
And we visited the mummies. It was very interesting. I've been to Mexico before, but I've never been on a tour like this. So I hope that in the future, maybe some of my colleagues, you guys can go. The reason they wanted us to visit them right away was because their president or their council only serves 3 years. And when this group goes out, everybody leaves, including the police department, the city clerk, the city administrator. It's a brand new group goes in. So this group that set up this sister city, they wanted us to, to participate in their function there. So that's the reason, this trip was put together fast, and but it was very, very enjoyable. So I just wanted to report on that, and I don't know if Mr. Montenegro has anything else to add to that.
You basically covered everything.
So.
Yeah, what it is also I had the opportunity to be there with some of the people, and I've met them. And there's a lot of residents that are from Cuerámaro in our city, and that was one of the purposes, one of the reasons. You've got a lot of residents that are from this state, so therefore can we become a sister city, so there's a better understanding and assistance.
So with that, thank you very much. If there's nobody else, then we'll adjourn the council meeting to
We're going to do it to December 30th,
December 30th.
adjourn meeting,
We have an adjourn meeting to December 30th.
and 23rd would be, or just adjourn it.
We have a scheduled meeting on December 23rd, which is...
Yeah, regular meeting.
Right, we're going to call that dark.
Declare it,
Dark, we're going to declare the
Okay.
23rd dark.
Declare the the December 23rd meeting dark and have a meeting December 30th.
Adjourn.
I
Adjourn.
can't.
Wire.
Adjourn meeting,
Okay, this is going to be then an adjourned meeting
if you need it.
if we need it.
It might not have.
Oh, I see what you mean, just in case.
Yeah. The meeting normally December
really-
23rd.
I know, that is kind
We're
of
gonna be, we can't
ridiculous.
adjourn past a regular meeting.
Exactly. Maybe a special meeting if necessary?
Yeah, just don't call the 23rd dark then, just leave it alone.
Well, then, if that is the case on the 23rd, I'd like to get permission to be absent from that
Okay.
meeting.
And Ellen's gonna be gone too.
Well, I don't know, you're talking about the 23rd, I'm gonna be here.
I will be the
I
23rd.
don't know
Then just
about
leave it
the
alone.
30th.
Yeah, just
Oh,
You just adjourn to the next regular meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay, then it stays to December 23rd. Okay, at this time, we'll go into redevelopment. Can we have a roll call for the redevelopment?
Director Alvarez,
Here.
Director Pappas,
Here.
Director Schultz,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Susana,
Here.
Chairperson Cabrera.
Here.
You have a quorum?
Thank you. And next we have oral communications. The items on the agenda, 3 minutes per speaker, 15 minutes allocated. Step up to the podium and give us your name and address for the record. Being none, we'll go to items not on the agenda. Being none, we'll go to item A1, consent calendar. And there's approval of the redevelopment agency minutes for the following dates, November 25th. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Motion and second. Can we have a roll call vote on this?
Director Alvarez?
Yes.
Director Papa?
Yes.
Director Schultz?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Cicero?
Yes.
Chairperson Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries. Item B1.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members, item B1 is Resolution 97-35, a resolution of the Hawaiian Gardens Community Redevelopment Agency approving the pre-issued warrants and regular warrants for a total of $53,948.01.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Can we have a roll call vote?
Director Alvarez?
Yes.
Director Papa?
Yes.
Director Schultz?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Cicero?
Yes.
Chairperson Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries. Item C1.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members, the only thing we have to report regarding this particular item is the status report on the development of the Hawaiian Gardens Casino or Guard Club. They have indicated that they will be in business before the end of the year.
Good. Okay. And do we have anything in closed session?
Yes, Honorable Chairman and members of the Board of Directors, we have items in closed session to discuss pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A relating to the by right litigation, Lakewood Suzuki, Plowboys Market, Miramontes, Moskowitz versus Spencer J. Pack. Also to meet in closed session regarding real estate matters pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 to discuss the Garden Center and to discuss the Norwalk Boulevard site, and also to meet in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9B to discuss two or more potential cases.
Okay, we'll be in closed session. Ms. Silva, will you do the report?
Yes, Honorable Chairman and members of the Board of Directors, it would be in order at this time to take action on the By Right Meat Provisions Company Incorporated versus City of Los Angeles Redevelopment Agency case BC 154076 to authorize the Executive Director to execute a substitution of attorneys and to also authorize Agency Counsel to execute the substitution of attorneys, substituting out the law firm of Selvin, Weiner, and Weinberger, and substituting in the law firm of Frenzel, Sher, Robbins, Kaplan, and Bloom as counsel to the agency on this matter.
Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
Make a motion.
Motion from Kelco and seconded by
Second motion.
Mrs. Cecina. Can we have a roll call vote?
Director Alvarez?
Yes.
Director Papa?
Yes.
Director Schultz?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Cicero?
Yes.
Chairperson Cabrera?
Yes. Motion carries.
There was no action taken on any other matters that, they just have the record reflect the club tiers matter. The action was taken at the last meeting to settle Mr. J. Pack's amount and pay his amount separately from all the other parties in the settlement agreement, an amount of not to exceed $9,000. And no other action taken.
Okay, we don't need to vote on that, or?
No, you had taken the vote last
Okay.
meeting. I'm just, for the record, clarifying that.
Okay. With that, we'll go into all staff reports. Oral agency reports, done? Being done, we will adjourn to December 23.
I wasn't about to open my mouth.
There you go home. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you, Dominic.